Hey, my name is Michael Slider, Executive Director of Kentucky Citizens for Democracy. If you remember the baseball pitch or the White Castle hamburger, you will remember my name. That is Slider. All right. Anyway, we have this grassroots political group that we started out of here in Oldham County, Kentucky. And we basically, I wanted to do something to introduce people to our group who have never heard of it or don't know much about it. I've also had a lot of people ask me how we got started because some of them are interested in starting their own group. So that's why I wanted to make this little video. All right. So just to give you the history of how we got going, my wife was extremely alarmed, as many of us were, about the actions President Trump was taking when he first came in for his second term. I think the thing that was alarming compared to his first term, I think in his first term he was like, oh my gosh, I won, didn't really have a plan, really didn't know what to do. But in his second term, he was very prepared. He started following the playbook of Project 2025 and started disassembling some government agencies right off the bat, started replacing people who were supposed to be a check on the executive branch, started replacing them with loyalists, which is a characteristic of an authoritarian government. And so a lot of people were alarmed. So she got together some like-minded people on Facebook. They started talking about having a meeting. We started talking about having a meeting in our basement at our house. Next thing you know, word of mouth, it was too big for our basement. And so we agreed to meet at a church. So luckily we had a local church who was willing to let us have our meeting there. I would say at our first meeting, we had a little over 30 people. We got in a circle, and it was really therapeutic. People shared why they were there, why they were concerned. I think people felt very isolated, and they felt like not a whole lot of other people felt the way that they did, because we're in a red state. We're in an extremely red county. Donald Trump won our county by a landslide. And so, for example, on my street, I'm one of maybe two families who are, maybe three, who are not Trump supporters. I have a lot of friends on this street, and I have a lot of family. Most of my family are Trump supporters. So it can be a very isolating feeling. And I think when we went around the circle and everybody got a chance to talk and they shared their why, and that's something I would recommend to anybody who starts a group and has their first meeting, is you do give everybody a chance to talk and let them share why they're there. It's very powerful. And once we had that meeting, I think it was agreed that, man, that couldn't be our only meeting. We had to meet again, because there's power in knowing that you have others who are with you. And so next thing you know, we had scheduled another meeting, and then it just exploded from there. Next thing you know, we have a website. We have a leadership team. We're on social media. We have a mission. We have committees going. It's just amazing. This started in early February, and it's just now July. And it's just, we've been on media. We've hosted a town hall. It's just amazing how quickly this group has grown. But there's just a hunger for this type of work right now. So anyway, just to give you an idea of what we're about, our mission that we eventually settled on is educate, elevate, and activate. So we try to educate people in the local community and in the state. And we just try to educate people who become attached to our group on issues that affect them on the local level, the city, the county, on the state level, and on the national level. So that's the part of the educate mission. And then the elevate part of the mission is we try to elevate causes in our local community. Our group has kind of taken on the ICE relationship with our local detention center. We've tried to help out some local charities. We also want to elevate the discourse, the political discourse. One of the things where my generation has failed is the political discourse has become so nasty. And we want to elevate that. And then the activate part of it is, when we first got together, one of the first things our leadership team said is, we don't want to just be one of these groups that sit around in a coffee shop and complain. We want to give people actual action steps that they can take. And so the activate part of our mission is that we try to give people, we have a bi-weekly newsletter, and we try to give people little steps that they can take, whether it's contacting their representatives or showing up to one of our protests that we show up to, or whatever that, and every little thing in between, we try to give them action steps that they can take on a weekly basis where you just don't have to sit there and feel helpless. We have our core beliefs posted on our website. And I'm not going to take the time right now to run down every single one of them, but they all revolve kind of around justice for all, right? We don't believe in justice for just the elite. We've kind of become a government, what I would call a plutocracy, for the elite, by the elite. It's supposed to be for the people, by the people, and the majority of the people. And that's not really how especially on the federal level and even a lot on the state level, that's not how our government is working right now. So we want to seek out policies and things that call for justice for all. We are technically a nonpartisan group. We have become part of Indivisible, and we fundraise through them and all that. However, obviously, because we were formed as a backlash to the MAGA movement, we have a lot of Democrats. We have a lot of independents. We do have a handful of what I call recovering Republicans who, they hate the fact that the MAGA movement took over their party. They're traditional conservatives, and they hate the MAGA movement, and they kind of want their party back. And so we have a handful of those who are involved in our group in one way or the other. So we have a big umbrella of people. When I talk about the MAGA movement and all that, we're not naive. I realize that, Democrats have a lot of blame in this game, and that, I honestly, I can't speak for my entire group. I know I've got some who support Democrats no matter what, but, for myself, I feel like you can lay a lot of blame on Democrats and the fact that they also sold out our representatives to many of the same people the Republicans did, the billionaires and the corporate interests. And that's why a lot of people felt like they stopped working for the working people, the people who work paycheck to paycheck. And they turned towards some of the simplistic messages of the MAGA movement. And even though Donald Trump spoke about things that liberals used to speak about, like the outsourcing of jobs to China and things like that, I think you can tell from this so-called big, beautiful bill that just passed the Senate that, this bill is screwing over the very working people who supported him. And so I think you see what a facade that all was. Donald Trump doesn't come from the working class. He never had to work paycheck to paycheck. He looks at people as transactional. And all these people who show up to his rallies and all that, those people are, he might say the right things, but those people are transactional. And this bill that's going to yank so many services out from underneath some of the poorest in our society just shows that it was never about them. It was about him. But anyway, getting back to the core thing is that we are always trying to look for ways that we can help our community, our state. If you are feeling frustrated, you're feeling upset, and you're like, man, I've just been doom scrolling. I just flip on the news and I get depressed. I would like to have something that I can be involved in, have a purpose here. We would love to have you check us out. So if you go to our website at kycitizens.org, you can sign up to get our biweekly newsletter. You can sign up to volunteer. There's a petition that you can go to and check out. There's all kinds of things. You can see where we've been in the media. We got a media section. You can explore the website, look at our core beliefs, and see what we're all about, and see if it's something you might want to get involved in, or just reach out to us. I always keep track of our communications, and we would love to hear from you. So anyway, once again, that's kycitizens.org. I thank you for just a little bit of your time today, and we look forward to connecting with you.